All right, let's get started. One of the guests has a beer to his mouth. I think that means it's time to go. This is it. This is episode number 355 of No Laugh Track Podcast. I am Justin Severson, the host. Circle of Heat is a band. We play a song by them that you just heard, and one of their members is here with me, along with the other co-headliner this week. Two co-headliners? Could there be more co-headliners? By definition, I'm not sure. Mike Early and Trevor Anderson are here with me at Acme. How are you guys doing?
Very good, very good.
Yep.
I forgot you used the my band to, and I mean I listen weekly. I just skip ahead because I don't want to listen to my own music. I don't want to be that guy.
Oh, so you start, 10, 11 seconds into every episode?
Yeah, 45 minutes or so, yeah.
That's very nice of you. That's very nice of you. Fellas, congrats on the co-headlining week here at Acme.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
How have the shows been going? Today's Thursday. You've done 2 so far.
Yeah, they've been good.
Yeah, good. First one was good. Second one was good.
Yeah,
we've been stand out.
We've just been alternating who closes the show, had some great guest sets throughout the week, so maybe a couple more tonight.
Yeah, well, yesterday they had the Insiders Night, so there were quite a few more people than Tuesday.
Yeah.
And that was a better show.
Yeah. Well, they're different shows. Like the Tuesday with the small but mighty.
It was a better show, Trevor.
It's like, you can tell that you want the people to... Those Tuesday people wanted to be here, and...
What?
You didn't?
They wanted to? What were the
people? So.
What were Did they not want to be here yesterday?
I think they did.
How did they get here yesterday?
We corralled them up, and yeah. No, it was a good show. It was my anniversary on Tuesday, so shout out to my wife Jessica for being cool with me taking a gig. I was like, hey, how about you watch me do comedy? She was like, can I just watch Mike?
Well, congrats on that.
That was good.
Since you mentioned that, Trevor. How many years married?
3.
You've made it 3.
3.
How many do you think you'll make it?
Probably more.
More.
Definitely more.
Many more?
Yeah.
Many more.
Yeah. I sang her a song at the end of the show.
What?
Yeah. It was not funny, which is the way you want to close a show, is with something not funny.
All that and more
she'd been
Thursday night.
Yeah. She'd been just, you never sing songs for me. I was like, well, I can't just do it at home. Like, it'd be weird just she walks through the door and I just sing to her. I don't know. It'd be weird. So.
That's what I picture that John Legend does for whatever his wife, the model. That she's just hey, baby, let's sit down at the piano.
Yeah. So I thought it was a better idea to hold a comedy crowd hostage on a Tuesday night and sing to one person. But yeah, Mike will be singing tonight.
Yep.
Did she know it was for her?
Yeah, she didn't know I was going to do it, but yeah. I said, hey, she always yells at me. She's like, you never sing songs for me. I was like, all right.
Aww.
Yeah, I mock her before I give her
Did the crowd eat that up? Was it?
I
imagine this is oh my God.
I got some.
This is the sweetest thing ever. He's singing.
I got some good points. So, yeah, it's gross. We can get back to talking about comedy, which is also gross. But
that's probably nice. It's a really nice thing.
Before I come over here to do the podcast, I get dressed. Okay, you follow me?
We appreciate
more about you, Justin. Yeah. What do you do? You get dressed here?
So when I go to the sock drawer, I always look for the same pair of socks for some reason. And I don't know if they bring me good luck, but I always try to wear the same pair of socks.
Podcast socks?
Podcast socks. Nice. I don't know if they do me any good or anything. Yeah, I'll show you. They're like the crew ones with the Nike logo. I don't know if not my favorites necessarily.
You can get a 9-pack of those for $12 at Kohl's. You could have every day a lucky day.
He did get the 9-pack. He just threw 8 of them away after one good podcast.
My kids stole them.
These are mine.
I don't even know if it ever the first time. I don't even know how it started or why, but I don't know if it brings me good luck. I don't even necessarily know if I believe in stuff like that.
They're a snug fit, and it makes you feel confident.
You know what? Maybe that's it.
That is it.
Maybe that's it.
I decided.
Do you guys have anything like that? Like a routine that you do before shows?
About socks? Or
socks specifically and nothing? No. Just anything.
I know a guy who always wears mismatched socks, and that would just drive me nuts. Like, personally, I couldn't do it. I spend time digging through the sock drawer. I don't know.
I try to make sure my clothes match. If I don't...
No, but like, how about anything else? Like, you always have the same meal. You always
wasn't
take a
good
nap.
enough, huh?
You
Wasn't
always,
it good enough fun? I thought I did all right. That wasn't good enough, though. All right. Huh.
I always watch the first part of the show, like go kind of, see how the crowd's doing, see, like what kind of people are there.
Okay.
But, yeah, I don't know. It's not really a superstition thing. It's just kind of like it gets me in the mindset of like, the rest of the day's done. We're here to do the show.
Sure. Just routine.
Yeah.
Okay. That's part of your routine.
Yeah.
And we should follow up on everything you're wearing today is matching.
Thank you.
So success.
Well, I got to go home.
He's wearing a onesie.
That's not true.
Couldn't screw up that onesie. I went to have some lunch at McDonald's the other day. The university, right by the new field.
Midway, McDonald's. I know that one.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Have you been recently?
Drive-through, yeah.
Oh,
take the drive-through.
Go in sometime.
I've been in. I know it's a rough place.
Drive your car into that McDonald's.
Yeah, literally drive your car into there. Do them a favor.
There's a traffic jam to drive your car into that place. It's a big line. It's hard to do. It's longer than the drive-through. It's just to go maniacal in the.
You're absolutely right. We went in there last week, and the reason I'm bringing this up right now is because one of you said Trevor said onesie. You're wearing a onesie right now.
I'm not wearing a onesie.
For the record, you're not wearing.
Made that
He
up.
just changed
Trevor
out of
made
his
that
onesie.
up.
Self-conscious.
He made that up too. Those are two lies. You've heard them.
We're live fact checking this podcast. Well, I was in there last week having some lunch, and there was a woman in there. It was 12:30 in the afternoon, and she was wearing a Cookie Monster onesie, and it wasn't because she was going to or from a Halloween party.
That was her out and about gear for the day.
Yeah,
good for her.
Mm-hmm.
We know what she was doing.
Wear what you want.
That's right.
Don't encourage that.
At McDonald's,
dude. They listen. That person listens to this podcast. What are they going to see? They're going to, I'll wear it every day now. Go walk to the fucking McDonald's.
Maybe that's part. Yeah, it's her superstition. It's good luck at McDonald's.
That's an interesting story. I made I think it was the first time I ever featured. I made a special out of it. I just had my friend film it. And I was putting all my notes together in the Midway McDonald's, and it was the most focused I've probably ever been at an establishment. And so all that stuff about coffee shops, and it's not exactly true. You just have to put your flag in the sand and do it.
Yeah, that's it. I know, like when I was in college, I'd go study in the library. Like I would fool myself into thinking like that's the best place.
Just
away
surround yourself with books.
With books,
osmosis.
Yes, somehow I'm going to gain this knowledge just by being close to them, away from my friends at home and all that. Yeah.
No, you're surrounded by neurotic dreamers. People who are like, if I just get out in here, I'll write the novel. It's like, well, no, you won't. But you'll pollute the air around you with your thoughts and dreams.
There's a coffee shop by my place that I always look at local reviews whenever I go to a place.
Love it, yeah.
Because I want to see what other people have to think. Not that I care. I just want to see the people that have taken the time to write it. And they were like, this place is just a bunch of people on laptops. And I was like, it is a coffee shop. You've accurately described it. Yeah.
That dude wrote that on his laptop at the place.
Yeah.
And you could copy and paste that, like you said, for every.
Yeah.
Never enter the place, never enter the establishment, and just write, people had their heads buried in computers drinking coffee. Crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine that happening there. Have you ever written? That's something I ask sometimes. Have either of you guys ever written reviews for things online? Have you ever taken the time to do that for anything?
I've done a few. I remember one. It was this hotel that the band was staying at. I think it was like Stevens Point, Wisconsin, or whatever, and horrible reviews. The kind of place that a band would get put up in. And it was a fine hotel. So I was like on my soapbox. I'm like, I'm going to fix this hotel and give them a good review. But I reviewed very specific things. Like, I liked how it smelled like cedar in the swimming pool area that was closed. I don't know. Oh, we got some food coming here.
I don't know. It seems like it'd be a hard mission to eat this, but you put it in front of me. Yeah, thank you very much.
John, could you cut that up for him so it's easier for him to eat?
I'll pass.
That was John, the voice of John there on the
Get up for John, everybody.
John's podcast debut there. Yeah. Some claps
Catholic.
from the back from Brandon. Yeah.
Just a cast of characters on this Acme podcast.
Absolutely. So you guys were here last night.
Yes.
What do you do? When do you watch The Masked Singer? Do you watch it when you get home? Did you watch it today?
Tonight I'm going to have to go to that Trump rally, and then after the Acme show, I'll have to watch The Masked Singer.
Okay.
I do want to check that out, but it's during the show. I just would love to be there.
The Masked Singer?
I want to check out the Trump rally. I want to
okay.
see what goes on at those places. God, it's like the one time you can ever see one, and I think it'd be fascinating.
You want to bail? You want to announce it now? You're bailing on the show?
No, I don't want to get stuff thrown in my head, and even if you're just slightly curious, you're one of them. So,
good point.
Yeah.
What time is the rally?
7 p.m.
7.
Yeah.
You could go for a bit.
They always got some opener schmuck from some local lawmaker who wants to do something.
Some
more.
MC working out material.
It really is that way, I assume. They have some local
That's Mike's
guy
pre-show ritual as he goes to Trump rallies.
That
Just to
would
scope
be-
out the
yeah,
opener.
right.
Just,
What if I just had an epiphany at one of those and came to the comedy show like, this is so fake. These people don't know the truth.
then I would hope that I was the first one to go. And I didn't have to follow that. I don't need to go to a woke room.
Frickin' A.
We got to get somebody over there handing out flyers to get people over to the show tonight.
Yeah.
They'd come at 9:30. It'd be over.
Yeah, I guess that won't work. How about can we announce it now? Late show?
Sure, yeah.
Two shows
When does this
tonight.
podcast
Yeah.
come out?
Come on, today we'll do a post-Trump show.
That'd be amazing. If I ever set a goal as a comedian, which I may do someday, but it would be that, like a short-term goal where it's like, all right, it's like a reality show where it's like, all right, you have 2 hours to add a second show and sell it out. What do you do?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder what it would draw out of me.
Hell yeah. Now you just said that. Have you ever had goals like within 5 years? I
said that tongue in cheek. It didn't go off right, but yeah, I suppose there's things I've done, but no, most of the time it's just it kept showing up and stuff started happening.
Okay.
Well, I think like these run of shows co-headlining at Acme is definitely, whether it was a specific goal or not. When you start showing up at the open mics and you're like, man, it would be cool to like go to a show and be on it and people paid to see it here,
Yeah.
Not throwing any shade at the open mic. It's one of the best ones.
Right.
But yeah, you kind of like, whether or not you consciously set the goal, feels like a huge accomplishment to be able to
remind me that like Trevor, your first stage time, where was your first stage time doing
I think
comedy?
it was here.
You think it was here?
I had a buddy in college who was like all about doing stand-up. He wanted to do stand-up, so he like came here and did his first time. He put the star by his name, and then like he came back to the dorms. He was like, "Oh, it was great. It was an awesome time." So like,
You were going to the University of Minnesota?
yep. And I was like, "All right, I'm gonna go next week. If he can do it, I can do it."
Yeah.
And so we both went, and like he thought you just got up every time. So like he like brought a bunch of friends. He's like, yeah, me and Trevor are gonna go do stand up, and then like you got to pay your dues a little bit. So my first time I put the star by my name, and I got up and he didn't, and he was kind of mad, and he kind of quit comedy after that.
Oh really?
Yeah, but yeah, so it was a cool experience.
What did he end up doing? Do you know him still?
Not particularly. I think it's kind of one of those weird things where you just kind of part ways, and it's been like 10 years.
Sure.
So. But yeah, it
Did you do the contest here?
Yes, and I went over my time by 3 seconds because I had this stupid opera joke where I would like hold out a singing note for a long time, and so I didn't. Not that was the only reason I didn't win, but it definitely doesn't help to have your points cut in half.
My first time at that, the same thing happened. My mic got cut. It just went way over.
For the contest or open mic?
Yeah, the contest. Yeah. The contest.
So that's any open mic people listening, never give up, even if they cut your mic at Acme. Keep coming to it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Were you guys here for the open mic this past Monday?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The Twins have this amazing regular season. They win second most amount of games they've won in a regular season ever. They hit record-breaking amount of home runs, Major League Baseball record.
Yeah.
And then their only playoff home game Lewis Lee, the owner here, what a lucky guy here. That, I know he was worried that the Twins were going to have this long run in the playoffs. Their only home playoff game was against Open Mic.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it was packed here because people showed up to that, don't give a crap about the Twins.
Yeah, it was a full house.
Of course it was.
Yeah, it was kind of a bummer to watch, but, that's what happens, those damn Yankees.
That's right. That is right. What is your sports fandom for either of you?
Nine. Zilch.
Zilch. Nada.
Packers, sort of. My parents like them, so.
Interesting. I grew up in Wisconsin, but my family, like all my extended family's from Minnesota. So I was raised as like a Vikings fan in Wisconsin, which wasn't, my dad said it builds character or whatever, but there were some tough years. I think being a Minnesota sports fan, you kind of like, I at least feel like I have a healthy relationship with it, because if they're winning, cool, good, yeah, whatever. But if they lose, there's other stuff to do.
Yeah.
Like I remember growing up, my Packer fan neighbors in Wisconsin, I could hear them screaming like through open
during
windows
games,
or whatever. And
sure.
I'm like, I would not. That doesn't sound like fun to be that invested that could just destroy your weekend. That,
sure.
Like something that like 22-year-old person you'll never meet drops a ball or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm curious, Mike. So, is that how you look at it? Like, why are people's emotions hanging on?
Well, maybe at one point, when you're teenage and clever, you're like, God isn't real. Sports is fake too. But no, after a while, I just realized I just missed me. I mean, there's times where I've wanted to enjoy sports, but it just skipped over me.
Okay.
And I agree. I hate that, like, ooh, is there a sports ball match?
Yeah,
I hope they kick a touchdown. It's like, it's not your thing. It's not your thing.
Yeah. What is it,
like
the sixth quarter?
Yeah, yeah. It's like those people who are watching football. They don't give a shit about your Pokemon collection on your phone or whatever, and they just leave you alone.
Yes.
So
if you don't like sports, you have a massive, massive Pokemon collection. You loser. Get a team.
Did you take that one personally, Mike?
No, I didn't mean contempt with Trevor, but
no, he just wants to really drive home the point.
It is that dichotomy where it's like, you don't like sports, you got Pokemon hiding in your phone.
You must be into something stupid.
Yeah, some dark and creepy,
right?
Pokemon.
Let's go around. What's the dark and creepy?
Illegal porn.
We can ask that a different way though. What, Mike? What is something that you're into? Like, did you like?
Okay, yeah, you don't
that
like
you
sports,
like. You're
you
like,
don't like Pokemon.
Maybe you should like this too.
You got a plate of pasta.
I don't know if I
in front of you
mentioned
getting
the
cold.
Donald Trump rally I plan on attending tonight.
Do you have extra tickets?
You can get them online. I went online. I even got a ticket because I wanted to see, but then it said 7 p.m. But they just print out your ticket right away. It's instantaneous. It's free. Comes right to your phone, folks. If you buy one, get them now. First come, first serve.
So you're viewing this kind of like a Minnesota view sport. Like if you can get free tickets, you'll go. Like that's.
I wouldn't go to it.
No. And then go and then bitch about the prices of everything else.
Yeah.
That's what people with free tickets do. By the way.
Yeah.
Sure,
this beer's $8.
Yeah.
Like, well,
I would
they gotta
not
keep
do
the
that
lights
for a
on.
Vikings or a Twins game. Maybe a Vikings game because I've been to one football game in my life. But if there was a free Twins game, I wouldn't go. Don't make me go, guys. I'm not going.
You're going.
But dude, this is somebody
year.
everyone's talked about. People have, like, a good chunk of the country has dedicated their lives to following every word this guy says, and he's just going to be at the Target Center. It's just fascinating.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Minneapolis is the center of the universe right now. You guys at Acme.
Well, come on now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lizzo was in town last night. And
I didn't know that.
Tomorrow, I believe.
Lizzo's in town tomorrow.
Sort of popular
today.
She's very popular.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
And then a little political rally over at Target Center.
Just a wee bit. Yeah.
Segura, Jimmy Yo Yang tomorrow night here at Acme.
Segura's coming.
Segura's at Northrop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Telling it's the center of the entertainment universe here in Minneapolis.
That's how it is here. It's like there's so many things going on, but nobody's heard of any. It's all separately interested people. I feel like for such a smaller city, you think there'd be more awareness, but it's who we are as Minnesotans. If somebody tells you, maybe you'll find out.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right.
But not all of them. Not like Justin. You know.
I got to know something.
That's
so this
great,
is the stuff
man.
that I know.
Yeah, nobody. That's good that you.
This is the stuff that I know.
Hub of knowledge.
Are you guys? So I was looking at some news this week. Some stuff maybe you guys want to talk about. Wrestling. But do I have wrestling fans in front of me?
Yeah.
No.
I am a wrestling fan.
I thought so.
I was like a weird yeah, you got me. I thought I left it behind me in 8th grade, but it's back. Wrestling is all over. There's so much wrestling.
Yeah.
But what do you think about that, Mike?
Wrestling?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really have much thoughts. You have that period when you're a kid where you're like, it's fake. You think you're cool, but whatever.
So are the Avengers, but people pay to see that.
Right? No, I'm not. Exactly, but I'm not. If you like wrestling, go see. But I'm not. I don't know wrestling. I don't like wrestling. I don't watch wrestling.
Well, here's what I wanted to bring up about it. You know the name Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you hear about what they're saying about him? Trevor?
No, I haven't.
He wants to have another comeback.
Sure.
Does
that's kind of that's how wrestling goes. Is like you get
he wants a rematch.
You get your major pop, and then you kind of like get injured and die off, or and then you kind of just try to cash in on some.
He's about to have his 8th back surgery.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
8th.
So getting back in the ring should be any day now for him.
Yeah.
That's I one of my good friends is Super Thunder Frog. He's a local wrestler, and
What?
there's a great indie scene.
I know. I've
Minneapolis.
never seen any of it, but
Definitely go. It's way better than watching the TV productions. He was talking. He's like, man, I hope my knees go before my brain goes. Like that's the goal. Is like so that because you take these bumps, it's fake, quote unquote fake.
Sure.
But like you can only fake flying off a ladder so much.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, if I could just get, have my time in the spotlight, and then like, I just want to have my brain by the time I'm 40.
Yeah. No shit. Do you remember Hulkster's finishing move?
It was that's Mr. Stunner, right? No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't remember his
The
finishing.
leg drop.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So he was like peak right before I kind of got into wrestling.
Sure. Well, he had the leg drop. That's what he's blaming on back injuries, 8 surgeries, and he wants to get back in. I'm thinking it's not a good idea.
No. If anything, he should reboot Three Ninjas at Mega Mountain. That was peak Hogan for me in my childhood.
that one.
He had a restaurant briefly at the Mall of America.
Pasta Mania, right?
You know that?
Hell yeah.
Did you ever have a bowl?
Speaking of pasta, Mike, how's your pasta?
It's a little cold. While you guys are yipping about The Undertaker.
We're talking about wrestling so you can eat your pasta. We're giving you a timeout.
Look at you guys.
Yipping about The Undertaker.
Yapping about the
Undertaker.
Yeah. They should remake the Three Ninjas movies. I don't know if you watched those. That was a big thing. I grew up with 2 brothers. So any movie with 3 brothers that are just kicking and punching and but like we're on the same team. Like we were all kind of like my parents were always like, hey, what, you never fought like really when you were growing up. It's weird to have like 3 boys getting along. But we're like, yeah, we're on the same ninja team. Like, you can't fight each other.
Wow.
Yeah.
That should be used for like I mean, that's advice that ought to be passed on to parents.
Yeah. Or
day.
they made us share a PlayStation, so we had to strategize like, okay, we just got a sports game. Now we'll get so because we found if we pooled our money we could get 3 times as many games.
What's the age difference between you and your brothers?
It's pretty tight. It's like about a 5-year span from youngest to oldest.
Okay.
But
now as adults you guys fight constantly, right?
Yeah, no, they're plotting we get along great. It's yeah.
You still playing video games?
Yeah, I play games. Are you just chowing on that pasta? Or
I just read that
I
quitting Fortnite that Fortnite is as addictive as cocaine. Is that someone just saying that, or
People love to say everything's addictive as cocaine.
yeah, Facebook as well. Apparently,
These losers haven't even tried cocaine.
Yeah, more Fortnite players should try cocaine.
These scientists are losers, and they suck, and they suck. That's my take.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just being
Humans are just addictive beings. I think, I've caught myself many times like, all right, cool, I'm going to play, done with work, done with the show, I'm just going to unwind, play a video game for an hour and a half, and it's like 4 a.m. and I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
What happened? So I could see that happening with cocaine too, I guess. I don't know, I've never done it.
But I haven't either.
You have a wife that lets you play video games till 4 a.m.?
I mean, she can't really do much about it when she's asleep, but she works in corporate America, so her hours are a lot different than mine. Mm-hmm. And I've joked, I was like, oh, this would be great if we have kids someday, I'll be awake in the middle of the night and you'll be awake during the day. And she's like, yeah, but you have to be with the baby, you can't just play video games and drink when, Yeah. But whatever.
Now, if you figure that one out.
Yeah.
To be able to play video games while caring for a baby?
I think there's probably like a YouTube channel for it.
An app or something.
Yeah.
My wife lets me play video games.
in the basement.
How about you, Mike? You play any video game? Fortnite? Any of that
No.
crap?
What do you do?
I get a cell phone game once in a while. Listen, I don't watch pro wrestling and play video games. Why is that such a negative? I don't know. I used to play video games, then I took calculus and math. I just lost total interest.
Huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I think my brain got bigger, and then it wasn't as engaging. I mean, I'm dumb now. I haven't done math in forever.
Mike's the thinking man's
I'm
comic.
dumb now, so I could go back to games, but now it just scares me to drain my time in that way. But
that's a real thing too. Like especially to kind of bring it back to we're co-headlining. This is a big thing for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think back, what did I do during my free time? I spent it playing video. If I spent 6 hours playing video games, that's 6 hours someone else is cutting up clips and posting them and emailing clubs and stuff.
Competitively?
Yeah, competitively getting booked. But
don't worry, nobody is.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's right.
There's 3 guys actually doing that. Yeah, they're doing well.
Well, then I'll go back to gaming.
Yeah, right. As long as we're all lazy, we'll all just won't feel bad.
Yeah.
I work at construction on my days off, and the days I have completely off, it's an abyss. I write. I go to coffee shops. And then, that's what I do.
So you're still doing the day job occasionally, Mike?
Yeah, I have a deal I can show up to whenever, so I do that.
Nice.
And I have still a level of responsibility I feel towards places, so most days where I'm completely free, I do it. And when I'm not, it's I get a little feeling like I'm being truant in school, and I know it's kind of irrational, but that's how I'm hardwired at this moment.
I get that feeling, yeah. I get that feeling sometimes, too.
Yeah, but 3 days of no work, I go a little nuts, so I try to keep that a little bit in my radar.
For sure. Do you guys pay attention to that Gary Gulman stuff he's been writing on Twitter with in the last year, this year, with all these tips and stuff about writing and
I haven't.
performing?
No, maybe we should.
Not so much, but,
That's always something.
I've seen them.
Okay.
That's you kind of got to take those things with a grain of salt. Obviously Gary Gulman he's been around, he's established, and he knows what he's doing. But, every comedian has a different approach, has something different that works for them. But yeah, it's something to check out.
Yeah, that's really relevant. I love how people, on that note, I love how people they read The Art of War. That's another similar thing where they try to deduce a discipline philosophy from a book written by a guy fighting Mongolians 2,000 years ago. So yeah, Gary Gulman's probably a little more relevant than Sun Tzu.
Yeah,
Gary Gulman's Art of Comedy.
That's just something I've been thinking about. Everyone's like, The Art of War says, it's you're not fighting the factions of China. It's over. Wrap it up.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have a hard time.
Talk to your dad.
Yeah, absolutely. When We should talk a little bit more about. Have either of you done this co-headlining thing at Acme before?
I have one time with.
You did with Greg, right?
Yeah, Greg Coleman.
Yeah,
that was a great time.
So what? I'm curious when whoever told you guys, how was it when someone from the club was like, "Hey, we want you to work this week, but you're not going to feature. You're not emceeing. You're headlining."
That's great.
Yeah, it's thrilling. Great. I was working. I bartend here and there during the day at a wrestling themed bar. Actually, Bar Luchador. Shout out. They sponsor a lot of local stuff and my paycheck here and there. But yeah, so I was in the middle of the shift, and then I saw if it's an unknown number, I don't answer it because that's every goddamn phone call I get.
Amen, brother.
I'm like, leave a message, I'll get back. But I also don't check my messages. And so I saw it had the phone did the vocal transcribing thing.
Yeah.
And it got it kind of right. It said, Deborah, this is Derek from Acme. And then dot. And I was like, oh, Derek's calling me. I should. So I had to go through 55 messages of robots.
55?
I just never check them and delete them. And then it says, Trevor, this is Derek from Acme. Call me. I was like, God, okay. So I called and he's like, what are you doing? So yeah, it was good.
And you're like, headliner? Yes.
And then I was like, oh shit, one of those nights is my anniversary. I should probably double check, but just would be cool. So
for a headlining gig, hell yeah.
Yeah, we're not gonna, and honestly, we're not gonna celebrate too much on a Tuesday either way. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, it's good.
Discount movie maybe.
Yeah,
Tuesday night.
We don't go to a lot of movies. Do you watch movies, Mike?
I'm
trying to figure out what you do.
I watch movies. That's what I do. I watch movies.
He's a movie guy.
What do I do in my free time? I watch movies. Motion pictures. Wouldn't that be weirder if I said something like that? What do you
I
do
attend
for fun?
cinema regularly.
I watch movies. Oh, you do, huh?
How was it when you got the call, Mike, that this was going to be a headline gig?
It was great. It was great. I was an MC here for 4 years, and then I just got bumped up to feature at the beginning of summer. It's great to do that so quickly.
Hell yeah.
And I'll go back to feature tomorrow, but
I'm featuring at the end of the month for Nate Abshire.
Nice.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. How much performing are you guys doing these days? Trevor, comedy, we're talking right now, not the music.
Yeah. As much as possible. Obviously, Acme's an awesome local spot to be performing, but and during the summer, road stuff is not as fruitful a lot of times because, you go somewhere and there's there's nice weather. We're not going to go inside for a comedy show.
Sure. Yeah.
So, yeah, trying to stack up the weekends going into winter, which is a great time to be driving around the Midwest.
Right.
But
yeah.
But yeah, it's I think this is good to do the co-headlining this week and then having a feature spot later in the month. I'm hoping to try to kind of set aside a bunch of material from this and work on new stuff because the middle guy doesn't really matter. Nate Abshire is going to do a great job.
What?
I mean, if it's like a sandwich,
What? A sandwich?
Yeah.
That's your defense? It's like a sandwich?
There are quite a few times,
What kind of
guys.
sandwich? A turkey sandwich?
I will come here with my wife and we'll leave and she'll be... I liked the feature acts more than the headline.
Well, they have a very key advantage of having the crowd already warmed up and not having to close the show. So they got, they kind of get that sweet spot of attention and drunkenness hasn't reached peak,
Yeah.
But
does the go ahead, Mike.
I think it's great when the MC if they bomb and you're able to restart the show as a feature. It's such a good feeling.
Really? Why?
Because I don't know. It's just it's a little cruel, but it's you're just well, the show starts now, folks, and then you have a second shot at just bringing them in, at the expense of the first guy.
Part of that too is I think a lot of people at Acme, the crowds are spoiled. I think I've been at other clubs and they're as the opener, and they'd be like, "That was actually pretty good." I'm like, "That's what I was hoping for."
Yeah,
I'm like, "What do you have for a normal opener?" I did a thing in the Upper Peninsula, Michigan, where the opener, quote unquote, was the guy running the bar was like, anybody want to come up and tell some jokes?
No.
Yeah, that happened. And that's like what Mike was saying. It didn't go well, so it kind of felt good to go up and be like, here's what an actual comedy show is
open
like.
Mic, if you're able to do well at an open mic that everyone does bad, I mean, it makes the other comedians feel poorly, but you feel great.
We always feel poorly anyway.
Not as
so
bad as you
matter.
do in that situation. It's extra poor. If you can like break through the clouds, they feel bad, you feel good. So it's a win-win.
So when you guys are coming into to the co-headlining gig this week, like it's a different mindset of, I don't have to come out here to this cold audience. It's somebody else's job. Like just right off the bat, it's a different.
Yeah, and it's, a little bit more time. You kind of get used to the rhythm of the 30-minute spot where you can kind of, get through your go-tos, just kind of just hit some, hit them hard in the middle. But yeah, you have to pace out, and build different, momentum as you go longer.
Sure.
Or they're dropping the checks, you don't know.
Yeah. Are you aware of when you're in the feature spot? Are you aware of what the headliners act like? Well, I'm better. Is there other expectations? Like, I better make sure that I don't do this or I do this or.
Maybe in the first night or second night, but after a while you're just like, well, no, it's all the same.
Is it?
A lot of the times, yeah.
I've had it a couple times where, like, I'm working on a bit that's maybe in the same wheelhouse that a headliner clearly is, like, already tackling.
Okay.
So I'm like, I can shelf that this week or whatever.
Have you had a headliner, ask you to set something aside and not do? Or
no, I don't think so.
Any side of rules?
Crowd work is one of those things where, like, if openers are like talking to the crowd, it kind of opens up a doorway where like they think it's okay.
Okay.
And some, I think most headliners would prefer to come up on stage and not have it be like, yeah, you can talk to me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So that's one thing I've learned where it's like, maybe don't go into the crowd too much. Did you
learn that the hard way?
Kind of just by noticing, it's like, it doesn't go better if I open up a can of worms that they now have to deal with,
sure. Yeah.
Especially, like I said, as more and more alcohol is being pumped into the room during their set.
Yeah. Absolutely. Mike?
What?
What's on your mind?
What was the question?
He's just face first into this pasta.
I'm not. I took 2 bites and I'm just staring into space.
What time are you heading over to Target Center to get in line?
I don't think I'm going to. It's too. Maybe I'd have to get there pretty early, wouldn't I, Justin?
You could check it out. I mean, there's people there now.
I suppose it's walkable, but if I did do it, O.J. Simpson, if I did do it, it would be at 5:30 or 6.
1 in 4 people have had a sexual fantasy about a cartoon character.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good for them.
This is why we listen to this podcast.
Good
the
for
seamless
them.
transitions.
Well, what is the last thing I brought up, Mike? Not kidding.
1 in 4. Wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. So you do remember.
What?
That's a real stat I have in front of me. 1 in 4 people have had a sexual fantasy about a cartoon character.
That makes sense. You see, even the 3D kids shows, all the women of them have giant boobs. They make them that way, so of course they do. They're designed to look good, so it's They
I wonder.
Didn't Jessica Rabbit say that? I was drawn this way.
Oh, nice. No, that was Lady Gaga, I think. No, I think. I wonder when that started. Like, were there cave paintings of like super hot cave ladies that they were like, "Oh, baby,"
Well, supposedly this Venus doll. It was dug up. It's one of the first pieces of art, and it's like this fat woman. And their best theory is that it was old porn. It's like this ceramic woman. It's called the Venus.
Really?
You could Google it. Yeah, it's just an overweight woman. Which back in the day there was very few of them because everyone was hungry. So that's their idea.
Those hot corn husk dolls. Those super sexy corn husk dolls.
Did I swear? I'm surprised it's not higher.
A clothespin with a face drawn on it.
Yeah. Whatever.
I think that's a low statistic. I think more than 1 in 4.
Yeah, 1 in 4. I mean,
well, there's 3 of us here.
And then, but then you got the
John,
2 genders.
Who brought in the
5 out of 4 men have fantasized about cartoons.
Yeah.
And -1 women have thought about that.
It's like, that's a cartoon. You get
That was great, Mike.
That's
Thank
that's
you.
that math brain coming.
Listen
into
to that.
It, you know?
Hey.
No Call of Duty in this noggin.
Yeah. Well, that's video game characters. I was reading a review. I forget what the game was, but this one guy was like, the chicks in this game aren't hot enough. Like that was a review that somebody wanted to. Going back to reviews and video games, where like the guy was like playing this game. He's like, this is bullshit. He doesn't have big enough boobs. It's like it's a fake person.
I know Joker came out, and it's a culmination of this comic books are real mentality we've all had, where it's like, oh, the politics of the Avengers universe. I saw this start like 8 years ago, and it's just gotten bigger. People live in their fiction. They live in their fictitious worlds.
Yeah, and that's what's happening at the Target Center later.
Did you go see Joker, either of you?
I haven't. No.
I told a friend I'm going to see it this weekend.
Okay, so you have interest. You want to go see it?
I do. I'm kind of excited.
I don't go to many movies. I'm not like Mike. I'm not a movie guy.
You don't watch movies?
I do watch movies, but like I don't know.
What do you do? I'm trying to. You're a loser. What do you do? You're creeping me out. You don't watch movies?
No, I don't know. Joker looks good. There's no Batman in it, right? There's no
don't
Batman
believe so.
at all.
Backtrack now,
There's
Trevor. Joker looks fun to watch with my eyes.
Yeah. I will view it at the cinema.
It's Marvel, right?
I do. I like the. I go to a lot to the. If I do go to movies, it's at St. Anthony, Maine, like that kind of the one right. Mm-hmm. There's right next to the place you can bring in beer and stuff from it, but then I have to like go to the bathroom for most of the movie.
Oh yeah.
So like,
I see.
You got to take that into consideration. There's no doubt. I have this is sort of vaguely sports related, so hang with me here, Mike.
he's grabbing.
Here I come.
He's
Here
ready.
I come.
Hot takes, Mike.
I'm ready.
These are getting
Beat you
serious
to the
here.
punch, Trevor.
Okay, there's a Philadelphia Flyers hockey team.
Yeah.
Okay.
They hockey season just started.
Didn't it just end?
Week. It not only did it just end, it just started as well.
Okay.
Yeah, they had
I'm not a hockey person.
They had the
but
2 days
I'm
off.
aware of it.
There was 2 days off season, and then it started up again.
And they'll just kind of go stretch for a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some changed uniforms to go to a different team. The Flyers have this thing at their stadium now. This season it just opened, and apparently it's the first major, sports arena to have this. They have their version of a rage room. They're calling it a disassembly room.
Yeah.
You can pay $35 by yourself, or you can do with them, other people. The price is whatever. 70 for 2 people, et cetera, et cetera. And you get 5 minutes in this room to break stuff during the game. And you have to reserve it in advance. So you can do it like first intermission, pregame, postgame. They're selling all these little 5-minute spots.
True Philly fashion. They're like, I'm going to get pissed off.
Yeah. Philly, of course, is where they had in the football stadium, their old one had a jail inside the stadium.
I did not
So
know
people
that.
could be booked and held right inside.
Dude, so you get 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes, who's the person who stops the raging idiot?
Right?
Who gets paid?
Excuse me, your time is
17-year-old
up.
comes in like, sir, stop punching that TV. Your time's up.
That doesn't seem right, does it?
I wonder if the Target Center should have like a cartoon porn room.
Cartoon porn.
Statistically,
Jesus.
some of you want this, so we might as well.
Yeah, turn every sports stadium into New York in the 80s. Just Times Square in the 80s. And
A rage. So like, what's in the rage room? Is it like?
I have that here somewhere. I'm looking for that. Oh shoot, where did I save that?
It's
now?
stuff nicer than anything anyone in Philadelphia owns.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or-
right.
Or like things that you can't, like just phone books that they can't rip in half because they're not. So it's just like a frustration room.
They make products.
Frustration room.
Specifically.
I want to be mad, but I can't.
It said you can break things with you get a baseball bat, a hockey stick, stuff like so you can swing an object, and then you're provided with some small objects and then one medium-sized one to destroy, basically.
Okay, one medium size.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They even segmented it out like some scarce resource, a bunch of useless junk.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a VCR, that's where you can find
Well, they
it.
have those I've seen them at maybe this is just a rural Wisconsin thing, but like a car you can pay $1 to the Lions Club and you just smash it or something. Is that?
Did you have that at your graduation party?
fun.
Yeah. It's like a redneck pinata.
That's like
There's no
better.
candy. There's just
Redneck pinata.
yeah.
I got friends, they buy people I work with, I should say, they buy cars and they just destroy them. They like tie their doors to trees and they gun it and they do this stuff you could potentially break your bones on. But yeah, I guess in sports stadiums, much like sports, people watch it and get some energy out by seeing other people do stuff. You just kind of take a dumbed down version of it or a safer version and you sell it in little packages that the whole family can enjoy. You know?
Yeah. But my wife gets worked up watching sports sometimes, depending on the team. Or she's very into the Gopher basketball team.
Okay.
And like sometimes she'll be like, just I'm mad. And then like this happened last season. I was like, it's just a game, it's fine. And then she like pointed at my PlayStation and was like, it's just a game. It's like because she's seen me like throw the controller,
yeah.
and I'm like, okay, yeah, we're both on the same page here.
Yeah, you have your thing too, honey.
Yeah. I think like, it's just human nature. We're just, you're gonna get pissed off at stuff sometimes.
Right. When I was a kid, they used to sell these foam bricks. They were purple. It was supposed to be, for frustrated Vikings fans, where you could, I'm gonna fucking throw a brick in my TV and break and do shit again. So you could buy a foam purple brick.
It's not the same.
Not the same at all.
By the way, who has a loose brick inside their home? What were they doing before? They had a brick by their couch.
All right, game time, honey. Get the beer and the bricks.
This is somebody who does construction part time. He's worried about the loose brick.
That's not even a construction issue. It's just, why do you have that brick there, man? Get that brick out of the house.
That's very true.
I think rage rooms are stupid. And I think they'll become like essential oils for losers. They're going to be like, you should go to a rage room. You'll hear that a bunch from people you don't want advice from, where you're just trying to vent honestly. And they're like, have you tried a rage room? You're going to get that. That's when you pull out your foam brick and, your castrated testicles. And then you ask your wife if you can play video games, and she says no. And then you get that real brick. I know why people get real bricks now. We're heading down that path, America.
I've never been to like the escape rooms, but I feel like that would quickly become
Combine
a rage
the two.
room.
Fuck yes.
Rage escape room.
There just is no escape, and once you realize it, you're just like, God damn it, we're busting out of here.
Yeah, rage escape room.
My wife will suggest that escape room thing. I'm like, no, I've no.
It would have to be
interest.
Circumstance. Like, it's always with like a friend who like then brings their significant other that you don't know. It's like, I don't want to have appetizers with you, let alone solve puzzles.
Yeah.
We need to skip the middleman. These are slow progressions. We need a suicide pod. This is where it's all heading. We're getting a suicide pod. It'll launch you into your enemy's house, and you'll all die.
So it'll have the destruction aspect.
Are you aware that today's National Health Day?
I don't give a shit. I'm going to a Trump rally.
One of the first things I read this morning was all these things about how important it is to take a U day.
I just realized I haven't read anything today.
Essential oils and rage rooms. The National Health Day.
Yes.
What was yesterday? Yesterday was National Health Day. It's all the same day. Every day's the same.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
who
decides what days are which. It's like
it's Jacob Fry.
Yeah,
does he? Okay,
I think so.
Jacob Fry.
Somebody got a proclamation.
Like, how do I feel today?
I'll be bartending. They'll be like, "Hey, it's National Margarita Day. Do you have specials?" I'm like, "No, but if you come in, I'll sell you a margarita, I guess." Like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
When's National Co-Headliner Day? I want to know when that.
Today, guys, at 8 p.m.
It was Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
It's Tuesday.
It was Tuesday. You got 2 extras just for the hell of it. Nice. Anything else we should be talking about here, guys? What do you think?
Yes.
You know what? This is something I regret not bringing up earlier. So you guys are too.
It's okay. Let's delete the podcast and start over.
All right. This is hey, welcome. This is episode 355 of No Laugh Track Podcast. Thank you, Circle of Heat.
I watch movies.
Yeah.
Body Slam. Fortnite.
Oh yeah, brother.
God, that's when. So you guys have been, the living here, doing comedy. You've seen people leave to go to Los Angeles or New York.
Thank God.
Thank God, Mike says.
Wait, I went to New York. What am I talking about?
Thank God.
So I just want to spend a minute talking about that. Trevor, you have a wife here. Would you ever?
We've talked about that, and she I lucked out. She's not a comedian, but sometimes that works, but she's very supportive and has the type of degrees and skill set where she could probably find work anywhere.
Okay,
but I honestly like being a comedian in Minneapolis. You can get stage time anytime you want. There's paid work within, like Mike was saying, like a 10. If you drive anywhere in 10 hours, you can get a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
Said that earlier today.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. It was,
the other radio thing. KQ.
They all listen to that too. So, but yeah, no, I think
I wonder.
I think
I wouldn't be so sure.
Yeah, my mom did. No, I think there's something to be said. Like, I just did a gig in rural Wisconsin this last week, and there was another kid I went to school with.
Who's that? Matthew Torkelson?
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw the photo online.
Yeah, good dude. He moved. He did the straight from the woods to LA. And he's like, I'm just going to do it, and he's doing great. And so he brought LA comics. He does this every year. Like, gets enough money to cover airfare for them, or it's
nice.
then they do we do a showcase, and they say man, sometimes you have to pay to do shows out there. It's a grind, and there's potential for huge payoff.
Yeah.
But they're like, I haven't done a 15-minute set in forever,
Yeah.
So
that's important, man. People in LA and New York, they need to get out. They need to get out and do those gigs because you feel worthless, and there's so much opportunity. You just need, as a comedian, you need a day where you just, somebody flies you somewhere and you do a show.
Almost like a mental health day.
I guess you're right, man. You're right. Yeah, no, you got to work. It's important. So even if you don't, you lose your value inside yourself, and that sucks.
That's right. You did go to New York. What was your experience?
New York I liked for a couple months. I always had plans to live there, but after that it was much like Trevor was saying. The stage time is scarce. You have the potential to do big payoffs, but I don't think it's this I don't know. There's a way to do New York, and I didn't really come in with that attitude. I was planning on living there, which is proper way to to start, but a lot of it requires hanging out at clubs and having a few pre-existing connections, but those are you can only work those so much. And but yeah, I was glad I did it. I was super glad to leave. I couldn't stay here any longer. I felt like I was melting, or I don't know. I just felt so underwhelmed here. And went to New York for 4 months, longest I've ever been out of Minnesota. And when I came back, I was just totally crazy about Minnesota again. So it was nice.
And that's how you're feeling good about things here now?
It's so. It's getting kind of a little restless again. But,
okay.
Yeah. I don't know. But certainly not as bad as it was before I left for New York.
Sure. Okay. I do want to talk a little bit, actually. You got to go on the road with Louis C.K. a little bit.
Yeah, I did.
I saw you. I went to his show here. One of the shows of the week he did here. And really good shows. Great lineup. And you got to go on the road with him.
Yeah.
Crazy.
He liked me, and he asked me one day if I was free for the next couple months, and I told him yes, I was. And
you just met him here.
I met him here. They booked me for him, opened for him. They didn't even tell me who it was, and then
what? Wild.
That's crazy.
And then they blindfolded me, and the day of, they spun me around, and he's been. I've been lucky enough to go on the road with him. I went to Nashville, and I went to Dallas and Columbus, Ohio, and Sarasota, Florida, and Chicago, and Cleveland.
Crazy.
It is.
Had you experienced anything like that in your comedy career?
No, not at all. Nope.
It was kind of a taste of the big time, sort of, right?
I had a viral video that was cool. That was a cool experience, and it's watching a lot of people watch your stuff. But yeah, this was surreal, where it's just like, what am I doing here? This doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just feel lucky, you feel grateful, and that's what it was. It was a great experience.
How will there be a future? Like, does he still have your number?
Yeah, he does.
Vice versa?
Yeah.
Can we call him right now? Is what I'm asking.
No, I wouldn't know how to approach it. Hello,
I'm just proving it's your number. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Don't be mad.
So sorry.
I hope you don't mind I gave it out on the podcast.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been great, but yeah, it's been opening for him. I've been doing the MC stuff. So I do like 10 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes up top. And then on some of the gigs, he doesn't want the checks to be dropped during his set. So I got to do 10 minutes at the very end.
Oh, really?
I got to follow Louis C.K. at his own show. And just
I never heard that.
Go into the chaos of it. But it's good because you do all the bad gigs and you know what it's like to do. And half the people are paying attention and talking. And it's kind of a fun environment. And that's the one thing anyone who's followed me after a gig like that, they all do it because they're like, I saw you do the things at the end. They like send me messages, and that's the thing that stands out in their mind.
No shit.
Yeah, because they're at a comedy show, then they laugh at your act, and they think that's a funny comedian, and then they laugh at the other acts, and then but if you're thrown into a situation that's brand new, it stands out in their mind, and they look you up. So it was good. It was good. It was good. And then for the last two runs, they didn't do it. They didn't do it at the Zanies. They just had me end the show, and I felt like someone was missing. I kind of miss those.
Were all those shows the no phones in the audience shows?
Yep.
And do you notice while you're performing that no one has a phone, or just?
Well, I don't. I guess I'm. It's being here, and you don't see phones at Acme, and you don't see phones at other places, so it's very similar.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, congrats, man. I remember when I found out you were going on the road with them, I was like, that is really good for his career. I got to be honest. It's good, man.
Well, there's nothing I expected to happen. And this is something, a lot of well-meaning relatives will tell you, like, Eddie, you being spotted? It's like, you just tell them, this does not really happen now. It doesn't really happen that way, but it did in this instance. Yeah. And it was pretty wild.
Yeah. Very crazy. We should talk a little bit about... how's the music going for you, Trevor?
It's good. Yeah, it's been good. We're still doing, gigging, playing stuff. We do some tribute shows too. We have an Allman Brothers tribute band, which has been great for like beer tents, county fairs, stuff like that. And we do a Rage Against the Machine show, so very different.
I was gonna say that's
okay. Yeah. So it's different crowds, But yeah, it's kind of one of those things where we've been doing that for like 10 years now. Met in college, and back when we were in our 20s, we're like, yeah, let's go sleep on couches and split $400, and
nice.
We're growing up, but because we've been able to make good relationships over those 10 years, now we're more pick and choose, where we're like, okay, we'll go to the good places that we have, that will pay us now and put us up in hotels,
Nice.
So yeah, but my approach to it has always been like, man, I'll do music as long as the other guys want to keep doing it. Comedy is one of those things where it's more individual. I don't have to wait to hear back from 3 people if I can book a weekend.
Or split the money with them.
Yeah, no load in, no load out.
Yeah.
You don't have to do 4 hours.
Yeah.
They're very different animals, and I suspect that comedy will be more sustainable as I grow up, and as other guys, you get married, have kids, and those are good things too. But I think it's allowed me, kind of like Mike was saying, like you get restless doing the same thing in the same city.
Sure.
So he went to New York and got a new experience, comes back and appreciates it. It's always nice to do not do comedy, get some expression and some other stuff.
Yeah.
And then you get a week at, you're like, oh, I got a week at the end of the month where I'm doing comedy, and you're reinvigorated to do that. So, and you experience more stuff.
Sure.
If you're only living in your notebook and trying to, do open mics and stuff, you don't experience anything. So,
It's lucky that you have that.
Yeah, and I'm not a musical comedian, and I don't think I'd ever would be.
You want to make that very clear?
There's enough people who've done it very well that there doesn't need to be more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Any musical aspirations for you ever, Mike?
No.
Do you want to be in my band?
Do you need a guy?
It's just a movie guy.
I'm your guy. I like movies. Well, no, nope. I sang a song at an open mic once just because I was going through a kind of dreamy phase. I was just doing whatever popped in my head.
Okay.
I just took a risk. It is good.
How did that go over?
It's fine,
Didn't make it into the act.
Didn't do it again, but...
Yeah, I did make it into the act. But, no, I don't have any musical goals.
That's the thing that kind of sucks about, if you do one of those kind of gimmicky things and you're like, God, I gotta do this again, or like selling merch. Like I know talking to other comics, like, damn it, I have 300 t-shirts, that means I have to tell this joke every night.
Okay.
Sure.
So yeah, I don't know,
but it's like it's a new experience every time, right? When you
Right.
sing a song and you connect with it sometimes and sometimes you don't.
yeah.
Is that accurate or no?
Musical, I don't know, but musical comedy I feel like
Musical comedy, yeah.
involves more tech than most comedy clubs are
yeah,
able
kidding.
to. Like they're like, all right, we got the microphone and a stool next to the microphone.
Yeah.
And you're like, can I add a DI box to play? And they're like, no, let me check with the other managers.
Dig behind the chicken tenders in the freezer, see if we have one of those.
Yeah.
You're killing Brandon in the back of the room here.
Yeah. That's kind of what I know he's listening.
This club, they know how to do that stuff, but I can't imagine you go to some place out in the middle of nowhere or, strip mall. We don't know what that is, but we'll give you
We don't even know where you're performing tonight, let alone how many mics you're going to need. I'm sorry.
You'll get half off.
And I think
cheese
at that
curds.
point you would have to have your own equipment and just take matters into your
Oh,
own
that makes
hands.
sense. Yeah, those are some admiral guys. The guys who just go to one nighters with all their stuff in their trunk, and they have like 2 kids, and God, they do. It's just that person is a steel worker in my mind. That person, that
Deserves respect for all their hard work.
Yeah. He's like a established hustler. He's really done it. I feel that way. It takes a lot of work.
Well, and I don't know, like I haven't been to New York or LA, but I feel like that's a very Midwestern kind of comedian.
Yeah.
That they'll throw their gear, they'll do bars in Williston, North Dakota, or they'll drive 18 hours for a gig, and I think there's a way to do it right. That's going back to the band thing.
People go to New York for like 4 hours, and they're like, "I'm not making money at these open mics. Why am I here?" And then they get in there, and leave.
Well, with the band, it's nice to be on the road with your buddies. Like comedy can be lonely sometimes, where you're just like, "Wow, that gig was bad, and I don't have any friends with me."
Yeah.
Or "Wow, that gig was great, and I'm just going back to the hotel." So like, that's kind of nice, and I like the gigs where you can kind of bring your own friends to support you open. And I think I've had this conversation with many people who are at the same kind of area I'm at, where it's like, hey, don't be offended if I ask you to open for me, or like I won't be offended if you ask me to open for you. Like, let's get foots in the door, let's have a good weekend. Like, it's not a power move where I'm like, you're going to feature for me. It's like, I want to hang out with you this weekend. Let's both make some money, hopefully.
Mike, he wants you to open for his band right now, is what he's saying.
Yeah, I want you to ask Louis C.K. to open for my band.
Yes. Let me get my phone out.
Yeah.
Could you ask him if he's willing to open for a band?
Yes, I'm his agent.
A cover band. Oh, well, it'll be the Rage Against the Machine cover. Yeah.
Do you know if he likes Rage Against the Machine?
Maybe we could get booked in some
Let's
rage
start there.
rooms.
I don't know any of these things. You contact him, get him on the show.
Yeah.
All I know.
I should see about getting our Rage tribute booked at the Philly Rage Room. Just playing some Killing in the Name of.
It seems almost too obvious.
You're gonna play the Rage Room?
Yeah.
I would love that. Just be a comedian. Hire a comedian to do his set while people express their actual feelings towards his shitty jokes.
What if they did that one night here at Acme? Like filled the room with things that people could throw.
Interesting.
I don't think I would take
one person would do it, then it would all. After that first one, it's an avalanche because people don't want to be the first.
Yeah.
Some people want to be the first.
Warm up that crowd.
It'd be like The Purge meets the Joker. Like,
I think if there's not a pre-established precedent, like in I don't know, Shakespearean times, where they actually did that, it's kind of hard to introduce with some regularity.
I suppose.
Isn't it? They do that like the Renaissance Festival, right? There's a dude you can just
Yeah,
throw.
it's hilarious.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
Best part of that place is just watching that guy rip on people and getting stuff thrown at him.
Pegged with tomatoes.
Yeah.
It's really a very human experience. You get why people do it.
Yeah.
Now I
And-
don't get why we do what we do. We should just do that.
Do that? Yeah,
yes.
so bad,
Insult, long distance insult comedy. Where you're just kind of you're ducking tomatoes. here and there.
Weaponized long distance insult comedy.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of those things. where you-
I love watching that guy because he'll be mean to kids.
I know.
I
It's
love
great.
kids, but
It's
holy
great.
shit, that's funny.
But
I
he
know.
doesn't, and that's great. You can live vicariously through him.
They had some stuff right.
Yeah, that kid is kind of a little bitch.
They had things or some things right back in traditional, like, English days. They did do that for no reason. They had a public, they had a mob, and they also had a king and a queen, and you had to stop the one from killing the others.
Is this part of your warm-up act for the Trump rally tonight?
No, but it's just that's a great example of it, where someone's just up there shitting on people, and people are eating it up. It's
I had
just a very
a
human
teacher in high school who was like, I don't think we should beat children. I'm like, okay, there's definitely a but coming.
But,
He's
however,
with some brace democracy, the teachers get to vote for one public caning at the beginning of the school year.
Caning. What
Yeah, like one of the students. The teachers get to beat one of
With
the
a
students.
cane?
Yeah.
It's like Sharia. They do that in Islam.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, I won't say who it was, but he's like, my point is, the rest of the kids would be very well behaved for the rest of the year. So
Well, I guess it falls under the.
that's just like what you were saying. Yeah.
That's a good point.
as long
That
as
used to
you're
be
behaving a
order.
little bit better than the worst guy.
They used to be better than what was there before. They used to represent order and civility, public beatings and stuff like that, versus before where you just took justice into your own hand and strangled people and you all killed each other.
That's what's coming next to the Philly Stadium.
Yeah.
Hey, come to Philly. We'll kick your ass in front of everybody.
It's so wild. They used to-
We built a morgue downstairs
That's
inside
what the
stadium.
medium-sized rage
Right.
object is just like a high schooler.
It's a tween.
Oh, God. He's putting it all on TikTok.
That's right. Two 12-year-olds is the same price as one 24-year-old. Which one do you want to take?
What are we talking about now? I skipped out a little bit. Came in on that
Face
line.
first in that pasta again.
Yeah.
We can, you know what? We can put a bow on this thing right now.
Yeah.
People can come see you. If they listen to this today, the day it's posted, they can come see you tonight.
Yes.
Because they're not going to see Trump. They don't have anything else. They want to come see some really good comedy here at Acme. And then follow you guys on social media or friend you on something, right?
Trevor Anderson
You can do
comedy.
You gotta.
I'll be at Acme again, like I said, featuring the week Nate Abshire's here, the last week of October.
Perfect. I'll be here.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'll be next Tuesday is a recovery riot here. It's it's a sober
saw
show, or they're not serving booze that day, and I've been sober 12 years, which is why I want to see people in stocks again and just to feel alive. But I'm very proud to be doing that show, and it's $15 to get in, and it'll be a great night. So if you do listen to this, come to the show.
It's I'm not someone that's sober. I have a friend that is, and he brought that show to I just talked to him 2 days ago, and I had seen that, but I wasn't really on my radar, and he brought it to my attention. He's like, yeah, hey, Acme's doing the sober show pretty soon.
Well,
and then I found out it's next week.
The lineup looks amazing regardless of your stance on alcohol,
Well, absolutely. But my point is that he was really excited about going to an event like that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's always a little special when you can get those people together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very cool. Well, you get a little bonus time next week then. That's awesome.
Bonus time?
On this Acme stage time.
I suppose, yeah.
Keep it rolling.
Keep it going. Never do a show once a week. See how long you can go.
It'd be fun, yeah. I'd be like a real entertainer.
He's the house MC here.
But then he wouldn't have time to watch movies, so something's got to give.
I'll take it.
That's right.
I'll give it up.
Next time Mike Early is on the podcast, it's going to be nothing but movie reviews. So
and trivia, little factoids and tidbits about movies.
Yep. So thanks, guys, and stick around for that down the road.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing this.
Boom.